Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily and today I have yet another readathon TBR. This group of books is to complete the challenges that are set forth by Rhiannon from Crescent Moon Reigns for her second Witch-a-thon of the year. She is so creative. She has taken on an enormous amount of work to create 4 different Sabbath-themed readathons for us throughout the year that go along with some of the major Sabbats in the Wheel of the Year. She's amazing, and I had a lot of fun doing the first Witch-a-thon around Samhain, and this one is all themed around the Sabbat of Yule. The readathon has 7 different challenges, and it goes from Friday, December 14th, tomorrow, to Friday, December 21st. I already know I'm not going to be reading 7 books. I have picked 5 that can complete challenges, and a couple of them are they complete multiple challenges, so I'm doubling up on a few. I just know myself and I probably won't be able to complete 7 books in the course of 8 days, so I'm aiming for 5. I have the challenges up on my phone. I will link Rhiannon's announcement and TBR videos in the description box, as well as the Twitter account for Witch-a-thon. So challenge number 1, Yule is a time of gift giving for many. Read a book that you received as a gift. For this, I'm going with A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms by George R.R. Martin. I received this for my birthday from my brother. He has been begging me to read this for ages, and so I'm finally gonna get around to it. I think this will be a really good time of year to read this book. It is a bunch of short stories about a knight, I think a century before Game of Thrones happens. I don't really know much about it, but I think it's like little vignettes of his life. My brother loved this. I think he's read it twice, and I'm so grateful that he got this for me for my birthday. I opened it and was just like so touched that he thought to get this for me. I am definitely going to be reading this one during the readathon. Challenge number 2, we have descended into the darkest part of the year. Read a book that plays with dark subject matter. For this, I am going to read A Heart and a Body in the World by Deb Coletti. I first saw this on Emily from Possibly Literate's channel. She read this a couple months ago and absolutely loved it. This is about a girl who has endured some sort of trauma. Something has happened in her past, and to cope with it, she decides to run from, I think, Seattle to Washington, D.C., or vice versa. And so we follow her run and her sort of coping with this grief. And it definitely seems like it's a little bit dark and definitely heavy, but I cannot wait to read this. It also looks super wintry. I don't think it takes place in the winter, but it gives me winter vibes, that's for sure. Challenge number 3 is to read while enjoying a hot beverage. This is a time for keeping cozy, maybe even light frankincense incense. So obviously you don't need to choose a specific book to complete this challenge, and I plan to have a hot beverage probably multiple times throughout the readathon because it's winter in Minnesota. And while I don't have frankincense incense, I do have a frankincense and myrrh candle. This is from Frostbeard. They actually have a set of 4. I don't know if you can see them up here. They have 4 different candles inspired by the 4 different Hogwarts houses, and obviously I assume the actual names of the houses are copyrighted, so they can't use like Slytherin candle. So instead they use Ambitious Wizards, Smart Wizards, which is black currant tea, Loyal Wizards, which is wild mountain honey, Brave Wizards, which is warm vanilla spice. So while I won't be lighting any incense, probably, I don't have any, I don't know what I mean, probably, I definitely won't be. This I think will be a good stand-in because it is frankincense and it's definitely a Christmassy scent. Challenge number 4 is this season is meant for introspection. Read a book that will challenge you to see another perspective. For this, I plan to read Little and Lion by Brandy Colbert. So this is a contemporary story about a girl named Suzette who comes home from her New England boarding school to LA, and she finds that her stepbrother Lionel has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And then as she is sort of trying to support him and settle into her life back in LA, she finds herself falling in love with the same girl that her brother is in love with. And I chose this book for a couple of reasons. First, Suzette, I believe, is black, at least on the cover. It depicts her as African American. And then I have never, I don't think, read a book about bipolar disorder, and that is not something that I am super familiar with other than like my psych major like giving me some info about that. So definitely really different from my perspective as far as Lionel goes. And then Suzette is obviously a queer black girl, which is very different from my experience in life. And so I feel like this will challenge me to see from multiple different perspectives, and it's one that's been on my radar for a long time, and I hope that it's as great as it sounds. I have heard a lot of praise for this one, so fingers crossed, it's good. Okay, challenge number 5. It may be the darkest part of the year, but this darkness can make us see the light all the more clearly. Read a book that makes you feel optimistic. First of all, I love this twist on like darkness and how it helps us see the light. Like I said, Rhiannon's so creative. She's wonderful and so lovely. And since it's winter time, Christmas time, for me as I celebrate Christmas, I wanted to pick up a Christmassy book, especially because Tis the Season-a-thon really got me in the Christmas spirit. So I'm going to pick up One Day in December by Josie Silver. This is basically a British rom-com in the form of a book, but basically the main character of this book, what's her name? Laurie. She is on a bus one day, I think around Christmas, I assume, and she sees a man who she believes is the love of her life. She love at first sight or whatever. But then the bus drives away, and so she doesn't get to meet him or anything. And then I think the next year she meets him at a Christmas party or something. He's dating one of her friends. And I believe this spans like a decade of their lives. And my assumption is that they go throughout 10 years where it's just like never the right time. They never quite get together, but then in the end they do or something. I don't know. It sounds like it's going to be an uplifting and optimistic love story. So I feel like this is going to be good for that optimistic challenge and just perfect for this time of year. My sister loved it. I know Trina from Between Chapters read it for Tis the Season-a-thon and she really liked it. So I can't wait. This will be probably one of the first ones I pick up. And then challenge 6 is Our Year is Ending, Read a Book You've Backlisted on your TBR for a long while. And I'm combining this with challenge number 7, which is to read the group book. So the group book is The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. I've been wanting to read this book for so long. I almost read it this summer, but I was like, you know what, it looks Christmassy, it looks wintry, and my friend Jocelyn at Yogi with a Book, she loves this book, both of the books in the series so far, and she was like, yeah, you really should wait until winter when it's cozy. So I'm going to start this ASAP. I've said that with like all of these books. All these books are the ones that I want to pick up first, and it's really going to be hard to choose. But I know that I'm going to really, really like The Bear and the Nightingale. I don't really know much about it. I know like at one point I must have read the synopsis and been like, yep, that sounds great, and put it on my Goodreads TBR because it's been there for ages. And I can't wait to read it and text Jocelyn the whole time with my thoughts because I just know she'll appreciate that. I hope she will. And I can't wait to talk about it with everyone else who's reading it for the readathon. I think it's going to be perfect. Alright everyone, that is everything for this video. That is my Witch-a-thon, Yule Witch-a-thon TBR. If you are reading any of the same books, let me know. I would love to hear what you are reading. And if you want to chat with me anywhere else, I always leave the links to my social media accounts in the description box below, so you can find me there. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on my next video. But until then, happy reading. Bye.